Alright, well I'm back here on the BMW 325i. It's a 2001, and this rear bearing needs to be replaced again. It's been about a year and probably about 20,000 miles, which is pretty crappy. And I think it has to do with the quality of the bearing that I bought. So this time I bought an OEM style bearing for like $95 this time. But this time I'm going to do the job a little differently. I bought some new tools. I bought this front wheel bearing adapter kit, and it actually will work on the rear bearings too. I don't know why it just says front bearing, but this will work really well. I also have a new bearing separator and the circlip remover. So this kit right here costs $100. It's pretty cheap, and it can be used for any vehicle. It looks like there's lots of different sizes here for the cups, and of course I can reuse this anywhere I want to, and this one as well. So what I'm going to do is, previous video I didn't buy any special tools to do this job, but this time I've spent about less than $150 for these tools, and I can reuse them. So okay, we're going to get to work here, and I'll show you how to do that with this new kit. Okay, so the first thing is remove the tire and get the car up in the air up on some jack stands, nice and secure. Next thing you need to do is to get this nut off right here. It's a number 30 millimeter. First thing you need to do is to open up the, spread these bends out a little bit, so you do that with the screwdriver. Okay, so now this is bent out of the way, and you can spin this around. The only way to get this off is to either have somebody hold the brakes for you to hold the rotor from turning, or I use a Allen wrench like this. Fits right in here between the slots of your rotor. It'll hold everything steady so it won't move on you. Now you can take your wrench and socket and get this guy off. You may need to use a extension on your ratchet. This is on like 200 foot-pounds, so it can be pretty tough. I actually use the handle from my floor jack that I have. It has a nice hole in it. This fits in there perfect. Okay, so now that that's loose, you need to get this screw out right here. This is the locating screw that holds your rotor in place. Okay, so you may have to use a impact on this, but you do want to keep this thing secured so it doesn't turn, the rotor doesn't turn on you. In my case, mine's been out recently, so I'm able to get this off with just a regular Allen wrench. Okay, now we need to get the caliper out of here, so I'm going to work on that next. Okay, so the caliper's held down by 2/16. Work on that now. Okay, so you got the caliper out of the way here. Use a bungee strap to hold it up so it doesn't pull on these wires or your cable or your hose here. Alright, let's get the rotor off. Okay, so you need a dead blow hammer usually to just persuade this thing to come off. Just kind of hit it a little bit here and there. And just knock this thing right off then. Okay, so now we can remove this nut. Now, I've had some people say that the shaft here is pressed into this, or they can't move it. As you can see, mine moves pretty easy, no problem at all. But if yours is stuck, I can't imagine why you couldn't just put a gear puller on here with the center right here and just push that thing in to break it loose. As you see, mine's not held in there by anything. It'll slide in and out no problem. So, okay, now it's time to get the axle shaft off the differential. Okay, so the axle shaft is held on with an E14, like an inverted Torx. You have to lift and lower the wheel on the other side so you can turn the shaft around enough to get to each one of these. But you can get 3 at a time if you get it placed in the right position, so it's not too hard. Okay, so in order to get the shaft out, you have to take out two 13s on both sides that hold your sway bar. Take those bolts out, then you can pull your sway bar down enough to get the shaft out of here. So, okay, so the shaft is out. Let's work on that bearing. All right, you can hear that. That made such a racket in the car. You couldn't drive this car. All right, we'll get this thing off now. Okay, so we gotta get the parking brake out of the way, and it's pretty simple. You just gotta find the right Allen wrench here, and there's this little post that stick up. You just put your Allen wrench in and you turn it. This little thing pops right out. And there's another one down here in the bottom. You just use one of the holes for the studs to hold the tire on, and just line it up with this little piece here, and it comes right out. That's all you do. There's just two of them. Now you just remove the brakes. Kind of try to remember how it goes together. If not, you can take a look at the other side. Don't take that one off until you're done putting this one back on. Okay, well, I guess I forgot to mention there is one more bearing separator that I use. This one here, it's pretty big. It's a large bearing separator, and I use that as a backing plate back here so I can get this hub off. So I just kind of set it back here and get it positioned and tighten it down, and I'll show you what we do here to get this hub off. Alright, so use a couple of your lugs, put them back into the holes here. You can use that to press this thing out. You just go slowly. You don't have to, don't do too much on one at a time. You're going to probably mushroom them out. I've heard people say they've mushroomed these out, or I've never had a problem with that, but I go real slow and just do a little bit at a time. So, just get your wrench, and you just turn a little bit, and you just keep doing this all the way around. You may have to keep tightening this up to get things tight, but eventually this thing will start to push out. I'll show you that. Okay, so it's pulling out just a little at a time here. Just got to keep repositioning this thing till you get it just right so you can grab. And occasionally you'll have to take it back off, readjust it, and tighten it again. But it's pulling it out slowly. Just go slow. Don't a little bit at a time. Do too much on one side and you'll get it cocked in, and it'll be really hard to get out. Okay, so I repositioned it again, pulled everything up, got it tight again, pulled the lugs back out again so I get some more threads on them. You may have to put washers back here, depending, but we'll see. Just keep working this thing out slowly. You can see it's moving its way out. So it's probably pulling the bearing apart. It's going to leave the inner race connected to this, and we'll just pull that off with the bearing separator when we're all done. It's not a big deal. But the big thing is just to get this hub off of here. Just keep working it back and forth. Let's get ready to pop off. There we go. So there it is. You can see it left the race on there, so we have to get that off. But we do that with the smaller bearing separator. Alright, next you gotta get this clip out. Take the clip remover, go right in here. Pull it out. Alright, now we'll work on getting the bearing out. Okay, so the bearing puller comes with a lot of different accessories, and the one you're going to need for this job is called 99511. That's going to go on the back. And then you're going to use this and this cup. Now, there's no sizes here, but the cup fits perfectly on here, and this will fit right here with that. Alright, let me assemble this and we'll get working. Okay, so the bearing's out, and definitely can feel how rough it is in there. Okay, so next thing I had to do was to get this race. This race had pulled out right here, and it was stuck on the hub. So in order to get that off, you can use a bearing puller. Sometimes you can get in behind these and pull them out with a bearing puller. Well, this time I was not able to do that, so I had to use the Dremel tool. I cut it, and then got it almost all the way through, and then hit it with a hammer and cracked it, and I was able to pull it off then. So now we have the two pieces separated, and now we can continue on with the installation.